New York's fiscal watchdog has some tough talk for the Thruway Authority. An audit released today says the agency lost more than $200 million in 2014. As 7 Eyewitness News reporter Josh Bazan tells us, unless significant changes are made, the authority could continue driving its books into the red.
Tolls. Yeah. Tolls are high. I can't believe what it costs just to go to Albany.
About $15. That's how much you'll have to pay to take the Thruway from here to the state capitol. But even with millions of drivers paying tolls every year, that's still not enough to keep the Thruway Authority out of the red.
The Thruway Authority is still facing some considerable financial challenges.
In fact, in 2014, the authority lost $227 million, despite efforts to cut costs. The authority has cracked down on drivers skipping out on tolls and has cut back on its full-time workforce, adding more part-time toll collectors. But maintaining 570 miles of roads and bridges isn't cheap.
The Thruway Authority estimates it could take upwards of $13 billion to maintain the system in good shape.
There are 4 main ways the authority generates revenue: state assistance, borrowing money, dipping into its reserves, and, of course, tolls.
The various combinations of those revenue sources are identified to provide sufficient levels of overall funding so that the Thruway Authority can continue its operations and at the same time provide sufficient funding for those long-term capital programs.
The authority has already said tolls won't go up next year, but some hope the Thruway does a U-turn when it comes to creativity.
But they can expand their rest areas, possibly adding hotels, different restaurants, all of which are going to be paid a fee by the companies that come in there.
The state comptroller is pushing for the authority to develop a long-term financial plan to meet future costs and to lay out how that might impact drivers and taxpayers. The Thruway Authority says it will consider that recommendation and continue its current cost-cutting strategies. Josh Bazan, 7 Eyewitness News.